must come on. So I always try to abide that. But the responsibility of it is so heavy for me. I feel I can never live my life, and I never used to say it. I never used to say anything to anybody, but since we've been doing this show, I've been saying.
It's clear that these sisters don't get along, and even though there's something new about them every day, Toni has reportedly been talking about how tired she is and how she's literally had to carry the rest of her family on her back for years. Since the Braxtons returned to our screens, there has been nothing but drama.
14, my mom, she had a really bad accident. She fell, and her back was really messed up, so she was in hospital a long time. And so I was a surrogate parent for a moment.
Where was Dad?
Working, had to make a living, had 6 kids.
So what would it look like for you if it were different? If you didn't have that responsibility and if they weren't leaning on you, what would your life look like? What would you be doing?
Well, I would have soared higher.
You think so?
Absolutely.
Toni Braxton is undoubtedly the most successful Braxton, having won 7 Grammys and sold 70 million albums. She is also among the most successful female R&B artists of all time. She began singing with her sisters in the late 1980s before signing for her solo album, Toni Braxton, which was released in 1993 and quickly became a hit, reaching #1 on the Billboard 200 and selling 10 million copies. Breathe Again and Another Sad Love Song, 2 of the album's standout songs, were produced by Babyface and Antonio La Reid. Toni then followed up her debut with another successful album, Secrets, which featured the hit song Unbreak My Heart, which sold 10 million copies worldwide and ranked as one of the top singles ever released. She has actually recorded 9 studio albums, the most recent of which was released in 2020. All of them have been fairly successful, with Toni making all this money earlier on. But it wasn't easy for her. She has spoken about how she was the one who had to take care of her entire family and meet the majority of their financial needs.
He's divorced, and a divorced mom pretty much got nothing. I'm not going to leave my mom by herself. So I'm going to make sure my mother's taken care of. None of my siblings have helped me take care of my mother to make sure she was okay, except for Tamar. No one said,
this is before Vincent.
Before Vincent. Mommy's car insurance is due. Let's help Toni with mommy car insurance. Boy, Tamar.
In essence, Toni was stating that Tamar was assisting their mother long before she became wealthy, and the other sisters essentially responded, well, Toni got it. She can do it. Toni was even more irritated by the fact that, even though she was handling the finances, Tamar, who was assisting with the bills, was not requesting payment, while Traci And Towanda insisted on being compensated for their labor.
Nothing.
You still charge her? I don't charge her. When the last time about charge you for a show?
Tamar's been
It's
charging
been
for
years.
show for years. My sister Tamar never charges me to do background singing for me. My sister Traci does. My sister Towanda, she's an executive assistant. That makes sense for her to get a salary. I just wish every situation was not about Toni's savings and loans.
I have never charged Toni. And what I'm saying is, it pissed me off. When I saw that you and Towanda get paid, I was pissed off.
Okay, I understand that Traci should receive payment for the decades of backing vocals she provided for Toni. She had 2 children and herself to support, and every time she had to perform for Toni, she had to give up time that could have been spent earning money for herself. However, Toni and Tamar felt that even though Traci was receiving payment, she was not contributing financially, so Toni still had to be the provider.
It's okay. It's okay. I got you.
I don't want to talk about that,
But it's the truth.
What was even more upsetting was that, despite all of her success, which included making over $170 million in record sales for her record label, she nevertheless had financial problems, even though Toni was essentially the family's breadwinner. The problem with Toni Braxton's multiple bankruptcy filings is that, while making millions for her record label Arista, she only earned 35 cents per album and even sued for it, both in January 1998 and against her label. 8 weeks after suing the label, Toni also filed for bankruptcy. She later disclosed that she had done so because of problems with her recording contract, which resulted in her receiving less than $2,000 in royalties and having to pay back her record label for expenses related to clothing, travel, studio time, and music videos. Her circumstances were so dire that Toni was once charged with transmitting money falsely. $53,490 to her husband, Kerry Lewis, to avoid repaying creditors in her bankruptcy case. You may recall that she also did that interview with Oprah, and although she believed it would help people understand her financial predicament, Toni Braxton found it to be a very degrading and humiliating experience. He felt that Oprah was judgmental, condescending, and uncaring.
Toni Braxton!
She's so freaking mean to me. I was in shock.
Do you take responsibility for the situation that you're in right now?
100%.
100%.
100%. I couldn't believe it because I loved her so much. I admired her and looked up to her. And she pretty much reprimanded me.
I read that you were upset about stories that your overspending caused this.
She says to me, I hear you have Gucci flatware. I'm Oprah Winfrey and I don't have Gucci flatware.
First of all, I didn't know Gucci made silverware.
You ain't got Gucci flatware because you didn't want to buy it. It's not because you couldn't afford it. What do you mean? And immediately, she made me feel this big. This big. That moment completely changed my career. It made people look down on me.
There were also rumors at the time that Oprah intentionally made fun of Toni on her show and told her record label about her plans. One source even claimed that Toni Braxton declared bankruptcy during a contract negotiation, which made it look bad for the face because Braxton had sold over 16 million records by the time he appeared on the Oprah Winfrey Show to talk about the bankruptcy. Winfrey called, "They said Toni's on my show today. She intends to make you guys look really bad, but I think it's messed up, so watch the show." Anyway, putting Oprah and her alleged deceit aside, Toni declared bankruptcy once more in 2010 after being forced to terminate her lucrative Las Vegas contract due to a diagnosis of microvascular angina and later lupus.
A lot of people don't understand. My second bankruptcy was because I was sick. I have lupus, and my show in Vegas got canceled.
And the insurance wouldn't cover
The
it.
insurance didn't cover it, so I had to pay myself.
Right.
And
That's a lot. That was a lot of money.
It's a lot of money to put up a show. People don't understand. So if you see a concert, you see the lights, you see the band on stage, the artist pays for all that. The hotel rooms, the salary, so then you have nothing left.
Additionally, on December 4th, 2019, the IRS filed a first line against her, stating that Toni owed $340,252.99 in back taxes for 2017. A few days later, the state of California Franchise Tax Board also hit her with a tax line of their own, totaling over $116,154.64 for money owed, bringing the total back taxes to almost $500,000. Naturally, people speculated that Toni's family was likely responsible for all of these issues because Toni had to care for everyone while also battling a costly, incurable illness, disease, and being underpaid by her label. Now, when their show came back, the sisters reportedly started to have payment problems and couldn't understand why Toni and Tamara were paid so much more than they were again. According to reports, led to a heated argument between the sisters at one point, and it reportedly got so bad that Toni walked out and said she was done with Toni. She also reportedly claimed that before Traci passed away, producers had promised her that they would get along, but that no one is getting along and that things have actually gotten worse. According to reports, it's not just about the money when it comes to Toni. For example, there have been rumors that none of the sisters attended the premiere party of Tamar and Miss E's cooking show. It appears that a heated argument occurred just 2 days prior to the premiere, which caused the sisters to miss it. Then, Towanda was out there posting cryptic messages like, "To everyone who has distanced themselves from me, kindly stay there." After more than 9 years of dating, Towanda married her longtime partner, Sean Hall, in a small ceremony in Decatur, Georgia, with her sisters Trina and Toni serving as bridesmaids. Was conspicuously absent. All right, so we already know that Tamar and Tanda don't get along, and even during the first season of the show, the relationship between them was evident from the first episode. When asked how it felt not to have access to her sister Tamar, Tamar responded that Towanda didn't care. She continued by saying that Towanda tries harder to stay in touch with Toni and Trina than with her, and she disclosed that she typically contacts Towanda first, and that Towanda only contacts her during filming.
People are. I don't engage. I don't pour into certain types of energy. I make different choices in my life. And that's just where I am.
Now this is TV, Josh. outside of yesterday and today, when was the last time you talked to me?
I don't recall. It wasn't my birthday because you didn't call me.
Your birthday's September, here we are in March.
However, Towanda also stated that she didn't know when she had last spoken to her sister, but she was aware that Tamar had not contacted her for her September birthday, even though the episode was filmed in March. In fact, she seemed so annoyed with Tamar that she disclosed that she is only concerned with her children and her partner. As the sisters argued, people clearly took sides, with some claiming that Towanda has long-standing problems with Tamar and others claiming that Towanda is just envious of Tamar's success. Let's not forget Tamar's meltdown before she disabled her social media accounts and made several explosive posts on her ex's page, claiming that her family is toxic. In her now-deleted post on her ex, she wrote, "You all have no idea none of the gaslighting is crazy, and I'm going back into treatment. I'm gay. I just pray that my marriage can be saved and my life can be spared. My family is awful." Basically, this has also caused arguments with the other family members, and it has been reported that Toni is just finished. In another post, she added, "I'm so angry with my life. My family is toxic. I should have never returned to BFB." She may have been blocked by her sister, Toni revealed when she commented, "I wanted to repost that gorgeous picture of you, but I'm blocked again." Tamar also recently blocked Toni on social media, and Toni didn't realize she was barred until she attempted to tag her on her birthday. Anyway, Tay, happy birthday. Tamar, however, said that was outright gaslighting because Toni could have just contacted her. She then shared screenshots of a text exchange between her and her sister in her. It has been one drama after another, but I would love to hear your thoughts on how Toni was the family's breadwinner for decades. Do you think her family dried her out, or did they contribute to her financial difficulties? I've even seen people speculate that the emotional strain may have led to Toni's incurable illness. This is based on an Instagram story that showed them attempting to determine which city the other was located in just a day before the child was born.